and thank you for joining me today at Deanna's studio for this Friday, March the 27th. Today, what I wanted to discuss, as a result of how fast we see things taking place, within our nation and within our society, regarding the beast system, the technology, we see signs of that the new world order is being established already at this point, and it seems to be taking place, at an accelerated rate. So I just kind of wanted to discuss some things, like some different signs that we can see, that we can identify that these things are being established at this point. And also, we see a lot of, lots of monies that are being invested to get the data centers established as well, like really huge investments for data centers to be established. I know that they have, I've heard, I know that they are being established all around, the United States, but you hear of certain states like where they're investing a lot of money, to get them established as well. So, and because it's moving at such a fast pace, I just wanted to, just kind of share some things, that point to the establishment of not just the beast system, but actually the New World Order, and which is concerning. If you're a Christian and you read the Bible, you're, familiar with the Bible and what the book of Revelation says, then you can see a lot of things that point to the fact that yes, that the New World Order is being established right now. It's moving in that direction. And the New World Order is actually the beast system. It's where the Antichrist comes on the scene. So I just wanted to share some things, and that is the primary reason why I have decided to share the in the book club, the book IBM and the Holocaust. Edwin Black is the author. This is primarily the reason why I've decided to share that book first, in the book club. So just for that reason in itself. One of the first places that we can see that this is taking place is in China. If you look at China and, a lot of, the things that are taking place over there, there's a lot of human suffering in China right now, and it's coming at the hands of the Chinese Communist Party. And I believe, it's my, personal opinion, I actually believe that they are actually going through a Holocaust of their own, and, through the hands of the Chinese Communist Party. What I've heard as well is that they have already established, like, the 6G technology. Here in my state that I live in California, they are actually moving in that direction to currently get the 6G technology established here in California as well. So, so we have to understand that, the signs that point to all of this are all around us, everywhere that we look. The New World Order is, well, our current government is ushering in the establishment of the New World Order, the beast system. The beast system is the currency of the beast system is that you will have to have a mark, like a chip or a mark on your hand. I think it's on the outside of your hand, and also on your forehead, in order to be able to buy and sell. That is the beast system. So, and we hear all the time that, where our dollar is going to become obsolete, and that they're going to move to this other technology. So, and that's the beast system ultimately. So, so anytime anyone, but in particular, like our government, is going along with this, and what I'm referring to is like the technocratic agenda, the agenda of the technocrats, and primarily, like, we see a lot of the technocrats coming from Silicon Valley, but we also see like Elon Musk and Peter Thiel and just, all these famous technocrats. They are actually the ones that are establishing the beast system and the New World Order. They're all for the New World Order. If you remember, there was, when Trump was elected the second time around, there's a video that came out where Elon Musk, I think he was holding his child, he was holding X as well, and he said, oh good, now that Trump's elected, yes, now we're going to have the New World Order. So the New World Order is Luciferian based as well, so people need to understand that. Has nothing to do with, it's not something that Christianity or the Bible or the God of the Bible that he supports. That is all Luciferian. Okay, the New World Order, the Illuminati, the Brotherhood system, basically the Satanic Brotherhood, the Luciferian Brotherhood. That's what they support. That's what they uphold. And some of the technocrats, their belief system is Luciferian. So that's what we need to understand. I did want to clarify something before I get into all of this. When I'm discussing like developing like the AI system and all the technology that goes along with it, Palantir and all this stuff, there are others. There's one person that I know, that I've heard of, that he actually has his own AI platform. I'm not referencing people like that they're Christian, they're good people. They've decided to create their own like artificial intelligence platform, because there's people like that, their platforms are based on good, wholesome belief system and facts that are based on the truth, their documented truth. But now this situation that I'm going to discuss tonight, I'm talking about those that are Luciferian based. They're anti-Christ, they're against Christ, they're against God. And a lot of the data, it's going to reflect that type of belief system. That is the foundation. When I talked about in previous videos, I discuss like there's these different foundations that people, depending on what foundation they have built upon, is going to be like the works that they produce is going to reflect that. So if you have people like the people, the technocrats, the real famous ones, and a lot of people that have come out of Silicon Valley, their belief system is it's Luciferian, it's satanic. So that's why we see like what we've seen like with I think it was Meta, where they lost a huge lawsuit because of all the horrible stuff that was going on, all the perverted and the putting the children at risk because of all the perversion that was intertwined with that system. That's what I'm referring to. That's a classic example of what I'm trying to get to. And because it's because of the source that created it, that's why there was trouble, because that's their belief system. That's what they promote. So when people like that don't believe in God, they don't embrace biblical principles, then sometimes they're pushing their agenda, which is the pedophilia, the Luciferianism, the dark satanic stuff. And then it's just like a net for our society and children to get entangled and entrenched into all this demonic stuff that can really be very harmful to them. So when I discussed foundations, the foundation you build on is, it really matters. It depends on the success of what is being built. In that situation, you could see that it was not a good foundation. It was based on evil and satanic stuff and Luciferian and perversion and all this stuff. That's what I was referring to when I discuss foundations, and that's what I'm trying to explain here with this information here. But so anyways, what I also wanted to share, and this is in this, so that when I discuss like the AI, the Palantir, the transhumanism, this is all a part of that beast system. This is all part of the New World Order. And so anybody that is trying to like bring this about or trying to enforce this. And I'm talking about people in our government. You know, we have a lot of really nice people in our government that they seem like wonderful people, very good, you know, they seem like good people, they seem like very wonderful people. But sometimes people support stuff like the beast system, the New World Order, because they don't have the knowledge. They don't have like biblical knowledge. So they're just kind of going along with the trends within society, and they don't realize how damaging and how harmful it can be. And that's mainly, you know, the reason why this kind of stuff happens. But and you know, we're happy that our conservative government is in the White House. We're very happy about that. But sometimes we see decisions that are being made that we don't agree with, and we can't stand behind them. And this situation right here is an example of one of you know, that. And as wonderful as they might be very kind and wonderful and good-hearted people, but if they are enforcing this establishment of, you know, like the New World Order, the beast system, you know, which is AI, Palantir, that's predictive policing, that's an enslavement of humanity. Transhumanism, that's all very evil, very satanic. It's not something that we should support. So like I'm trying to explain here, might be wonderful people, might be kind people, and we appreciate that. But when you see them enforcing this, then what they're basically enforcing is the New World Order. Okay, so I wanted to establish that before I go any further. So it's not something where you think, oh, this is a terrible person. How could they? You know, it's frustrating. I find it very frustrating, actually, because I thought, you know what? Because you know what it looks like to me when you see like anybody really, but you know, within our government or anybody actually within our society, upholding and you know, upholding the enforcement of this beast system and the New World Order. The way I see it, and this is the way it came across to me just right off the bat, it's almost like you have humanity, you gather up all humanity, and you've got them on this big, like this big plate or this big platter, and then you've got this Godzilla monster in front of you, and then you grab the plate and then you go, here you go, Godzilla, here you go. You know, we're being served up to this Godzilla, which is the beast system, which is ultimately the Antichrist. So that's the way it comes across to me, because in my mind I'm just like, how could you know, how could people that are, we see that they seem like good people, and how can they serve us up to the Antichrist like that? That's the way my mind sees it anyways. Okay, I'll move on from that. So like I said, they might be kind and wonderful people, okay, but if they're pushing to establish this type of beast system, then that's very concerning, and we have to understand what the end result is going to be as that is embraced, as that is established in the United States. We need to understand the end result, what that will be, and you know, in light of, you know, in regards to all of that, we need to know what is the right response that we need to take if this type of thing is being carried out, because we have a choice, we have some decisions to make as a society, and that's why I wanted to discuss. In the end, I'm going to discuss what does the Bible say about these things, and everybody will have to make their own choice as to how we're going to respond to this type of thing that is being carried out within our nation right now, because it's really, it's like the most important decisions that we will ever have to make. We will be confronted with having to make those decisions. I mean, just, it's happening so fast, and that's why I wanted to share this. I was actually going to share some things from the IBM and the Holocaust today, but I just felt like I needed to discuss some of this stuff because it's happening so quickly, and I just wanted to share what God's word says in the end about it. Okay, so alrighty, so please understand that part of the New World Order is that there will be a thinning out of the population when the Antichrist comes on the scene and he's reigning on the earth. Understand this, number one, it's only going to be for a certain amount of time. He will not be the ultimate ruler, the ultimate, victor in this situation. His reign upon the earth is only for a limited amount of time. And God is the one that determines when. Now, the technocrats in Silicon Valley, they are not the ones that are going to determine when the Antichrist comes on the scene. They're trying to push that into fruition right now. They're trying to push that. That's what their end goal is. They want the New World Order. They want the Antichrist. They want us to be exterminated ultimately. They want us to go through that Holocaust, because that's what's going to happen. When the Antichrist comes on the scene, we will be going through a Holocaust. There's going to be people that are exterminated at a high volume. Like all of us Christians, all of us people that are believers in God, people that reject the mark of the beast, they're going to be taking us, killing us. The Bible talks about beheadings. There's going to be things like that. So it's going to be a Holocaust on the earth, is what I'm trying to say. Okay, so with the New World Order, though, there is this belief system of thinning out of the population. It's eugenics, and we saw this attempt to carry this out during the time of the pandemic. That's what the vaccines were all about, is to thin out the population. According to people like Bill Gates, there was a video at that time that came out, and many people saw it, and where Bill Gates, I think he was doing like a TED Talk, and he said, if we do he had this goal, this percentage of culling or thinning out of the population, a certain percentage, like it was like a goal, and he said that he wanted to see, they wanted to see happen, or he maybe it was his goal, but he said, if we do a good enough job with the vaccines, we can thin out the population too, and it was a certain percentage that he mentioned. And so Bill Gates' father was into eugenics, and he also is into eugenics. Okay, that's part of the New World Order. That's part of the beast system. That's what's being it has already attempted to play out with during the COVID pandemic. Also, I believe that there's a situation taking place right now where chemtrails, the use of chemtrails being polluting our skies, seem to be ramping up a bit, and it's happening in a lot of states. It's happening here in my state, in California. I believe that this is part of the eugenics as well, because with the chemtrails, what they do is they pollute our soil so that we cannot grow our crops. And right now is a time where a lot of people are starting gardens. I was actually trying to start a garden, but I had some interference. I had someone coming and tampering with my garden. I have somebody that comes, somebody or somebodies that come onto our property and they tamper with my garden. And I saw that. I had them actually cut like a drip line, like a hose line where you water the garden. And this was a couple years ago. I had gone back there, and one day I went out there and I look, and my drip line, to water my plants was cut. Just stuff like that. And then I actually try to cover my garden, because for the past couple of years I've noticed, like, it must be, I don't know if it's happening through the chemtrails, but there has been stuff on my plants that like the previous year my tomato plants weren't like that, but then this one year there was this something that was sprayed on them, and I could feel it on there, and I was like, oh my goodness, I didn't even want to eat them after that. So I try to cover my stuff because of that. I believe that the chemtrails is part of that eugenics, because I have heard that I believe that I had heard that they're trying to spray stuff so that it gets into our soil. Number one, that's one of the goals. Number two, I heard that they were spraying, I think they said graphene oxide. Is that the stuff that's something that is in the COVID shot? And it works with the technology so that our minds are controlled better, through the technology. And then just other things that they spray to make us sick, to cause disease. So that is actually, if you lay it out like that, you have to understand that that is part of a eugenics type scenario. It's a project or an agenda of eugenics, and that is part of the New World Order. I'm gonna show some pictures of my own, and I'm also gonna discuss a podcaster. His name is Jason Bermas, and to my surprise, just this, I think it might have been this week or when he released the video, to my surprise, because I've been experiencing some stuff with the chemtrails, and then I go online and I happened to notice this podcaster that sometimes I listen to him, and he actually has a podcast. He had a video out, and it says Spraying Humanity with Lies, and he discusses how there's been an uptick in his area, and I believe he lives in Iowa, of chemtrails, and he says it's really bad. I mean, I can't remember how many lines, he saw in the sky one day, but it was a lot. Okay, and I'm gonna show, let me see here. This right here, this was outside my front door, okay? That's a chemtrail right out our front door. See that white thing right here? Right here, that's the awning outside of our door, like over our door, front door. Okay, and we live kind of out in the country, so we have this field in the back. So I mow the front yard, and I maintain the field in the back. I mow the field in the back as well at times. And this is what, this is all in the backyard. Now see the thick stuff? You can see the thin line, but you see the thick stuff. When it gets thick like that, it's because the chemtrail has dispersed like that. It starts to spread, and then it just gets thick like that. So you can see that. You see that? That was all in our back field. These are pictures from our back field. Let me see a good one here. Right here. This was in the back field as well. See that line? And I'm going to tell the difference. There's people that say chemtrails is conspiracy theory. It's not. And I'm going to share a little bit more about how I know that. You see that? This is all chemtrail. See how fuzzy that stuff looks? That's because I was inundated with chemtrails that day, and they were all spreading. They were dispersing. And see, this is another one. This is in the back. Okay, see that? You can see all the lines. Okay, so let me play that again. Let's see if I can play that again, because I think that was a pretty good one. It showed what was going on. Okay, now what I wanted to share is that there's something that is called, I think they called it, it's condensation is what it is. Whenever an airplane flies, it's common that you might see a white line following the plane. And what happens, and I've seen the chemtrails mainly, but I've seen the contrails as well. And what I have noticed is, like, you'll see a plane flying, and there will be a white line, and that's condensation. And what happens is, as the plane leaves the area, the condensation follows it. It'll be like a white line, and it's shorter than like a chemtrail, these chemtrails that I just showed. Okay, so it's it'll be shorter, like maybe, I can't show you here because there's not enough room, but instead of it being like this big line of chemtrail, it'll be like a shorter line, and it follows the plane. As the plane leaves the area, the white line leaves the area as well. That's called contrail. That's called condensation. And there's a man that he kind of specializes in all this stuff, and I encourage you to look for him online. You can find him on Rumble, but you can also find him on YouTube. His name is Dane Wigington. It's Wigington. Wigington, Wigington. And the first time I saw him on a show. It's called The High Wire. It's a Del Bigtree. Del Bigtree's, it's referred to as The High Wire. And it was a really good show because what they were discussing is Del was saying, there's a lot of talk about chemtrails and people saying, oh, it's conspiracy theory, it's just steam, coming off the plane, or condensation coming off the plane. He goes, how do we know the difference? So this man, Dane, he explained it. And he explained exactly what I said. When it's condensation, as the plane is leaving, wherever the plane goes, that little strip of white, the white line, it follows the plane. When the plane leaves the area, it's gone. It's not lingering around. When it's a chemtrail, the plane is out of the area and it leaves this big white, just like I showed you, those white lines right there. That's a chemtrail. That's a legitimate, that's what Dane said a chemtrail is.